Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to announce our next speaker. It's someone that is doing amazing things for us in the industry, even more relevant to like today, half the things that this company is actually doing. And I'm very excited to welcome our next speaker, Alberto de Conti. He works in biotechnologies in like sort of like textile labs in like Milan, via Vienna, and like Berlin. He in his past, he's also worked for like Levi Strauss and moved from R&D to product management and product management, and led breakthrough roles as a global director of business and development at like Levi Strauss. And more recently, he's been the head of fashion at the Rudolph Group, where he leads company-wide efforts in like response to evolving fashion and market like sort of dynamics. And he drives alchemy behind fashion, like unbelievable. He holds a doctorate in biochemistry from the University of Milan, and has an MBA from the Varick Management School. Welcome, Alberto.
Thank you, Motion. So, hello everyone. I'm Alberto de Conti. I represent the Rudolph Group as head of their fashion division, and I'm based in Milan. I'm very excited to be here today, and I would like to thank Andrew for the opportunity being given to us. Today, we'll be talking about an unusual territory, that is where personal protection and denim meet. Let me first introduce the company. So both the Rudolph Group and Hub 1922. Based in the center of beautiful forests in Bavaria, in the south of Munich, the Rudolph Group is a chemical manufacturer that sees itself as a global provider for the whole textile industry. Over 1,300 employees worldwide, 400 in Germany, of which 85 in R&D. So it's an incredible R&D powerhouse. We are all developing innovative, responsible solutions for textile. The core competence of Rudolph is functional and performance chemistry for textile. Chemistry is a key foundation of modern life. There is no product that has not been impacted by it in some way. Therefore, the central question is not if, but how is chemistry involved in modern society and business. On the other hand, Rudolph, I have 1922, you'll see two pictures in the bottom part of the slides, is the new kids on the block. Based in Milan, it is the design and development center of the group and center of excellence dedicated to the garment processing and denim. Our mantra is German engineering and Italian style. And Hub 1922 works with designers and product developers to turn the conscious chemistry developed inside the group into meaningful fashion propositions. And as we can see on the next slide, so one of the things we do at Hub 1922 is injecting innovation in fashion through functional chemistry, traditionally used in professional workwear. Workwear always had a huge impact on fashion. Think about when during the 80s, workwear such as donkey jackets, the Dr. Martin boots were popular street attire for British skinheads, hardcore punks, football hooligans. And if we bring it closer to our days, in the 21st century, workwear has also made a huge impact in the fashion industry through military trench coats, lumberjack flannels, and of course, raw denim.
Nice.
So now, I don't want to be pedantic, and I'll spare everyone a history class. But as we see in the next slide, nowadays, when you say the word jeans, most people's minds turn to fashion and brand names. When you think overalls, it usually means gear for carpenters and painters and so on. The funny things, though, is that those associations only came about in the last 60 years or so. In fact, up until the 50s, companies like Lee or Levi Strauss marketed their jeans as overalls. The reason being that until that point, jeans were worn almost exclusively as workwear, not as fashionable clothing. But gradually, the jump of pieces, let's call it this way, to use a term that is very familiar these days, from utilitarian functionality to fashion took place, okay? So one of the best examples that I can give you today of that jump, if you ask me, is Carhartt. The brand has always been known for its no nonsense approach to workwear. And when in the 90s, 1990, I think it was, the New York Times described the brand as the favorite choice of drug dealers who love Carhartt deep pockets, to hide their stuff. Fashionable youth, I was saying, took notice, and the brand superstar status began in the hip hop community of New York and Los Angeles. It would appear that Carhartt managed to appeal to very different audiences simply by staying true to themselves, by being real also, and especially when it comes to performance in workwear. These days, however, because of the current pandemic, we are talking about something that goes beyond basic functionality for work. And that is what we call PPE, personal protection equipment. Solutions for personal protection equipment are far more complex, technically very sophisticated, and raise the bar quite a big deal. Workwear is typically associated to clothing for manual labor. It is usually rough and tough, and fitting is as important as the material used to ensure comfort. PPEs need to protect, and therefore need to be developed and tested so they can effectively resist a number of aggression and can ensure safety. Moving up in the scale of complexity, we find PPEs used in healthcare. That's where performance becomes, life-saving, in the territory that so far couldn't be more distant from fashion. But now the unexpected is happening. Fashion and luxury labels are now using their factories for coronavirus relief. As an example, the Armani Group announced, as I'm sure I've read, that all its Italian production plants have switched to manufacturing of single-use medical overalls, and so are others. And in this effort to protect healthcare workers, new knowledge is acquired and new skills are being learned. Now, although I personally doubt that a steady supply of highly technical gear for healthcare professionals will continuously come from fashion houses, a new market is potentially being discovered in the process, and that is fashionable protecting equipment for the new heroes. Okay? Nice. Who are the new heroes? They are ordinary people who find themselves thrown in the fray, risking their own health to keep their community moving. They have everyday jobs. Think of lorry drivers, taxi drivers, supermarket staff, etc., and not necessarily equipped with professional protection. They might not even want to wear professional gear, and they might still want to be able to express their own personality through their clothing. How can we meet their needs? Technology and science can certainly support, and in order to help you frame the subject a little bit better, I let you watch a short clip we have recently produced. Now that we have understood the audience, as a background, I have chosen the sneaker mask, the collaboration between Free Profit and Adidas, to trigger a few questions. What's the role that denim can truly play in PPEs for the new heroes, if any? Can denim reclaim its original workwear roots and establish itself as a modern lifestyle that is both functional and contemporary? If we look at it from a business-wise, it's not just an equity exercise, and there is real business behind it. The global market for PPEs, and I'm here talking about clothing and footwear only, is estimated in over 25 billions. The most recent reliable data that I have is from 2017, but the trends are clearly upwards. And the coronavirus crisis can only boost the figures significantly out. If denim managed to erode or to create additional business, say 10% of this, it would absolutely be compelling and appealing to the industry. I would like to give you a couple of examples relating to the possible migration from pure professional PPE to PPE in contemporary casual apparel. The first example has to do with durable water repellents. It's used in a variety of domains and protects professionals from water to chemicals to blood, bodily fluids. This is all business as usual for Rudolf, and the umbrella concept for this performance is called bionic finish. Up there are some of the trademarks that we use to go to market, only for your reference. Picking the Rudolf Bionic fluorocarbon-free repellents and exporting it to denim, Hub 1922 has developed applications that add a level of invisible and conscious performance. By doing so, denim can be provided with utilitarian functionality, very useful in urban environment. Think of what G-Star has done with their City Shield line, okay?
Right.
For instance, where you wear it, you walk it down the street, you get splashed by a car and nothing happens. But this performance can also equip denim with real protection against any water-based droplet or body fluid, for instance. This award-winning technology is quite stunning. It replicates exactly what Mother Nature's work, and it's mentioned by Greenpeace in some of their publications as example of sustainable development. On the slide, on the right side of the slide, you see a couple of products created by the internationally renowned denim designer Piero Turk and his team. As you can appreciate, the performance comes with no trade-off in terms of aesthetic. The next example regards protection from microorganisms, and more specifically bacteria. This is a theme that is very much in fashion at the moment. Rudolf has developed a number of solutions that prevent the growth of bacteria that can cause inflammation. We use them in military applications. Solutions that can prevent the development of unpleasant odors. We use them in base layers of firefighters, for instance, and applications that can prevent infections in hospitals and clinics. Now, again, if we take Rudolf's bestseller product in this area that is called Silver Plus, that is a treatment capable of stopping the proliferation of gram-positive bacteria. The most famous, probably you've heard of, is the Staphylococcus aureus, very widespread in hospitals. Silver Plus is a highly engineered microstructure based on a natural ions, and it's very similar to what you find in modern cars' exhaustion systems, in the catalytic systems. Okay? Silver Plus was engineered to resist the aggressive washing cycles normally applied to hospital sheets and gowns, and it's perfect to ensure almost endless protection and freshness on denim.
So this particular one, you said it's more than 100 washes, even at high temperatures. So that's quite impressive.
Correct.
These finishes can be applied to anything, pretty much.
Anything that is textile, okay?
Wow.
And certainly denim. And it's quite breakthrough in denim indeed. In fact, now the jeans that you see on the right-hand side there, once again, they were developed in a collaboration with Piero Turk.
Yep.
And again, as you can see, performance requires no compromises in terms of looks and certainly no hand feel as well.
Wow.
So moving on, what we presented 2 days ago at Kingpins 24 is the simultaneous application of the two technology I just talked about. And the resulting idea is what we have named washless denim. In fact, if the denim is protected against accidental spills of liquids and droplets, and if denim doesn't develop undesired odors, then it means that denim can be washed much less. And because in the life cycle of a pair of jeans, domestic washing is one of the phases that has the highest environmental impact, by washing our jeans less, we are doing planet Earth a great favor. I let you watch the following clip to better understand what it is that I'm saying. So we've seen that denim applications or technologies normally used in personal protection equipment can result in protection provided to the new heroes and in massive, tangible, and measurable environmental benefits. Now, if the universe of apparel design and marketing were to effectively and efficiently collaborate with the universe of science and applied chemistry, then together we would be able to unveil a continuous pipeline of powerful and relevant product innovations. In other words, we would be able to raise our game in denim, where the level of real innovation has been kind of stagnant for a few years now. So now to conclude, I really hope that these few minutes we spent together were informative and up to your expectations. Clearly, there is only so much that can be discussed in 20 minutes, and I invite you to get in touch in case you had any further questions. I thank you for your attention. Be safe. Ciao.
Thank you so much for that presentation. How amazing. I didn't, you know, I'm familiar, obviously, all these things that you're talking about, these are things that you've been developing for a very long time, but all of a sudden they've become extremely important for the actual situation that we're in now, and obviously post-COVID. So obviously these finishes that your company like develops and makes, do you also, obviously, do you do it at the yarn level, or is it a finishing level where they put it onto the finished product? Is it both that you do? Or?
Traditionally, most of the time, those finishes are put on fabrics, and
Okay.
that's what you see happening for real professional workwear. Okay.
So it could be even applied to finished garments or garments that have. It could be an office. Customers or other clients or like recycling people who make recycled garments, they could put these coatings and finishes onto their garments so it adds more protection as well. Could that be possible?
Totally, and that's the work that we are doing at Hub 1922. In washless denim, we are applying everything on the garments, onto the garments, and as a very last step of the finish. So we do
Wow.
everything that it takes to get to the finish, and then as a last step, we apply the washless treatment on
Amazing.
garments. Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your presentation and for your time. I know you're extremely busy and you got a lot, you know, everyone's doing their thing from home at the moment, and we really appreciate your time giving up for like Transformer Z. I know myself and Andrew and the rest of the team are very, very thankful, and I hope and wish your family are well, and hope to see you in October, hopefully when we're all back to normal somewhere. So somewhere in Europe or in like New York. But thank you so much for your time.
I thank you very much, and I very much look forward to hugging everybody one day. Okay.
Nice. Okay. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.